Yes, but I don't want it. What's up guys, I'm Pencil here. We're going to do a breakdown and discussion whether or not Jujutsu Kaisen should have a sequel. Well, the answer is obviously yes, even if I, and some others, I'll admit, I looked at that poll, not too many, but some others are kind of on the no train. Though admittedly, I think some of my reasons are different than most, and I do think some of my reasons are aligned with many, but of course, we have a whole lot to talk about in precious little time. So let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. I think me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up guys, the guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Jujutsu Kaisen is the most popular new gen since My Hero Academia. I think that's a pretty since My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, those two. Like, I'm trying to think what other new gen has really captured the world. I could say Boruto, but even then, that's a very, very controversial anime, at least in the Western scene. And I can't really think of any others, specifically from the new gen era. Like, Black Clover is popular, but I wouldn't say it surpasses or rivals anybody, or any of those three. Or really those two. I'm talking about Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. I wouldn't say anything, really. I can't think of anything. The big three of new gen are JJK, MHA, and Demon Slayer. That is just the case. If you have any other ones that you would want to point out, I'd appreciate it. Please help me. But with that being the case, it is the biggest, heftiest, juiciest of those three recently, I would say. With the Shibuya arc recently being animated, having Mappa go absolutely insane, Jujutsu Kaisen's popularity has skyrocketed even higher than it did after season 1, in the likes of those prime early MHA numbers, those prime Demon Slayer numbers. It was going crazy. It was going buku bonkers. So, should JJK have a sequel? The answer is obviously yes. Just like MHA should have a sequel. Just like Demon Slayer should have a sequel. Because it's a popular series that makes a whole lot of money. Money. So should JJK have a sequel based on its merit as a financial product? Absolutely. In fact, it would be kind of ludicrous to not milk this series. Looking at a guy but ultimately, it is absolutely insane do not make a sequel to JJK because it makes so much money. That's why there was a sequel to Naruto. That's why they're still continuing Bleach. That's why Dragon Ball got a sequel well after the manga concluded. Money is money, and JJK is money in the general Shonen Jump scene. People love the characters. People love the story. People love the art. Well, not the art so much. I feel like a lot of people complain about the art. I love the art, but still, people love the art. Everything about JJK screams money. Dollar signs, moolah. So on that level, yes, JJK should get a sequel. On a secondary level, does JJK need a sequel for its characters? This one I'm a bit more 50-50 on, but fortunately, a lot of our casting crew is alive. AKA the only major characters who have so far perished and stayed perished is Nanami, the antagonists in terms of Sukuna, Kinjaku, Mahuto, and the Disaster Curses, and then Choso, and I wouldn't even say Kashimo. Kashimo counts as one of the antagonists, and Ryu Ishigori as well, but then again, I wouldn't say those are major characters. We have a bunch of characters left over. A bunch of characters who have journeys that could still be shown, have journeys that could still be told. Higurumi Hiromi is one of them. Angel Hanakurusu, well, not necessarily one of them, I would say, just because of how weak she is, apparently. Apparently, you could possibly still tell a journey. Remember, the whole idea of Angel themselves as a character still leaves a whole bunch open for JJK. Once again, we'll talk about that in a second for what other potential JJK still has. Mimi Fushiguro is a character who a lot of people, myself included, do believe needed generously, and I mean generously, more amounts of screen time, like hefty amounts of screen time, like Sweet Mother of Mercy, yay, why'd you do your own Deuteragonist like this, levels of screen time. Heck, even Yuji Itadori is still not necessarily a fan favorite to a lot of people, like he is to me, and honestly, still could benefit from more expression, more character development, more time, and Maruka Gasaki is even worse than Megi Fushiguro in terms of character exposure, considering she was gone for over half the narrative. So, our main trio still has a whole bunch of time in development to be done. Yuji is mostly a complete character, I would say personally, just based on his whole journey. Like, JJK is the story of Yuji Itadori if you break it down to its pure fundamentals, but still, there's time, there's room for our main cast. There's time, there's room for our side casts. There's time, there's room for everything. Takaba, Charles, Maki, Yuta Okotsu, Hakari Kinji. There's so much more that can be done with all of these characters. So a sequel makes sense. Honestly, it reminds me, I mentioned this in another video, but it reminds me a lot of Chainsaw Man Part 1 and its ending. Despite its ending being spoilers. I'm just gonna say that. Do with that what you will, for those who do not know what happens at the end of Chainsaw Man Part 1, but spoilers. JJK is in a much better place than Chainsaw Man Part 1 ended. And even then, a lot of people were not surprised when a sequel was announced, a Part 2 was announced, because a lot of the characters left in that world still had a lot of potential. A lot of things were introduced towards the end of that series, at the end of the Part 1, that had a lot of potential. A lot of it was still out there. In terms of the character work, I'd say JJK is definitely another, not going to say victim, but definitely could benefit from more time for more characters. Naturally, a sequel allows more time for more characters. Then, another thing, what about actual threats? Because that's one of the few things I would admit does seem a little bit vague. Unlike Chainsaw Man Part 1, I'm trying to dance around spoilers for that because I have covered Part 2 extensively on the channel, but I don't want to like spoil anybody who hasn't read Chainsaw Man. I hadn't read it for the longest. But with it being the case, Chainsaw Man Part 1 ended off with sort of an issue that JJK is currently ending off on. And that issue is the fact that everyone's kind of gone. And not everyone as in our protagonist, but everyone as in our antagonist. As in, Sukuna is cooked. Tengen doesn't seem to be an antagonist anymore. Kenjaku is cooked. Mahito is cooked. Urume literally auto-deleted. Like, everyone's gone. Like, gone. Like, gone. So, like, antagonist-wise, we're gonna have to be... Unless we're reviving somebody, which I really wouldn't like. I'm sorry, I'm getting into what I don't like yet. We're not gonna talk about that yet. But in terms of digging up antagonists, you technically need to do that from the ground up. But once again, there is the aspect of revivals. There are a bunch of people who think Kenny wasn't handled well. Well, I'm mostly fine with their death. I also would have liked more from Kenny. And while 270 has definitely raised hopes that Kenny is somehow around and alive based on this interaction with Takaba right here and the hairstyle and design of this character and the explicit need that Gege has to consistently cover their face in particular, everyone's sorry, the negativity sleeping out. Well, let's not. But ultimately, you could do that. There's the resurrection route. Resurrections always work. In fact, you could argue certain narratives rely on resurrections. Resurrection F, Dragon Ball. But like, this is a thing. You can just revive the old villains. Obviously, there's even setup for villains having influence on the world well after their passing, such as Ryomen Sukuna's promise of being a curse to Yuji, but not a literal curse as in like the curse spirit sense, but a curse as in a lingering impact on his life and in some way sort of... Honestly, Sukuna's statement in 268 reminds me heavily of Demise's statement for all my Zelda fans out there. Do y'all remember how Demise, like in his dying breath, was like, "I'm going to haunt you. My hatred for the rest of his days, it's going to keep incarnating. And come clap your cheeks, hero and goddess." That's exactly what this reminds me of. I wouldn't be shocked if a similar framing was used to the Legend of Zelda series, where ultimately Sukuna's promise to curse Yuji Todori in his great power and his great influence over the world, and the natural balance check of the world that's going to have to come in to correct the massive power gap that now exists. I wouldn't be shocked if ultimately it did end up taking the form of something Sukuna related, especially with the way 270 has set up the fact that yes, in fact, since Tengen was fused with Sukuna, Sukuna is now the basis of the barriers that maintain Japan. Which, very bad. He's a very malignant creature. So, new antagonists can be made. There are untouched Culling Games characters, at least according to our cast and crew. There's still a lot to be done antagonist-wise, and the power system and the way the world works itself has already been set up to introduce powerful characters that could be antagonists. Remember, JJK operates on a random power balance scale. With Ryomen Sukuna and Satoru Gojo both dying at the same time, at the same day, those are two massive vacuums of power that have now opened up on both sides. And the JJK world is known for its divine pranks. Look at Toji Fushiguro and the nature of the heavily restriction users in general. So I would not be shocked if one way or another a massive threat simply appeared to give the entire cast back shots, simply because the void needed to be filled. So all that is there. The sequel is freshly laid out. It's possible. It's real. It would make money. It's juicy. I would review it. Everyone would review it. We would never stop talking about it. It would be beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, toe curling, delicious. Scrumbly, I don't want it. I don't want it. I see the vision. I understand why everyone else wants it. I can even find a deep part of my core in the back of my mind also really, really wanting it. But there are a couple reasons why I don't want it. Primary reason number one. you're gonna have to start over, and I'm very impatient. Ultimately, by deciding to off the amount of characters and antagonists we have offed already, you, like I said, you're gonna have to come up with something new, or you're gonna have to Resurrection F things. I really didn't like Resurrection F, and I wouldn't like bringing back antagonists that you decided to off. It's just not a thing for me. That's why I'm happy Mahito was gone and then never came back. That's why I'm happy that Kenny's gone and hopefully he never comes back. Why Suguna's gone, hopefully he never comes back. Or Rumi's gone, never comes back. And that's the thing. You're gonna have to build a whole new antagonist cast and everything, and it's not impossible. I just wouldn't like it because I'm very impatient. Number two, I don't think the end of JJK can be saved by a sequel. I am mostly fine with the end of JJK in certain aspects, but I feel like a lot of people are looking to a sequel to act as the savior, the remedy, the end of part one sort of being a weird middle ground, a weird footnote. But as a person who has read a part one and a sequel series, or is a currently ongoing sequel series in Chainsaw Man, and a person who has read an entire series, which is a prequel to another series, in the case of Seven Deadly Sins and Four Nights of the Apocalypse, let me tell you, the ending of part one matters and should still be good. I have two examples. I really do not like the ending of Seven Deadly Sins because it feels very, very strange. Just as I really like the ending of Chainsaw Man Part 1 because it feels so complete, JJK feels really weirdly incomplete yet overstuffed, if that makes any sense, and I know it doesn't, and ultimately I don't think Part 2 would really help that. It just doesn't for me. I don't think it would, I don't think it can, but that's simply on the nature of how I view stories, so that's a completely different thing. Another thing that I kind of want, you know, maybe, possibly, we let Gege rest. If you don't remember, Gege is not very healthy, as the manga lifestyle, or the mangaka lifestyle, is not healthy for anyone involved, and thusly, they do need their rest, and it seems like they themselves are tired with the universe. I'm confident that JJK could have gone on for longer if Gege really felt like it. I highly doubt Shonen Jump would have complained if Gege wanted to make more JJK. Like I said, it is literally printing money. But ultimately, with the way they decided to wrap it up, going from one of the most extensive battles in the series to chopping off and ending 3 battles and viciously time-skipping away, all in the span of 1 chapter, only to waste 2 more chapters on either setup for other things and or explanations that are unnecessary, it feels like Gege is done. And ultimately, I do not want a sequel written by a person who is done with their own manga. And I get it. I'm happy with complete and finished stories. I do not want certain things to go on forever. I am begging Kingdom Hearts to end so I can look at it and love it, instead of look at it and fear as I wait until I'm 65 and Nomura Tetsuya is releasing Kingdom Hearts 37. Trust me, I know fear. And it is not a pleasant thing. And thusly, I am okay with things ending, and I want this to end for Gege's sake and ours. Because I don't think they want to do it, and I'd rather not see something forced. Can I claim specifically I've seen sequels forced out of people simply because they need to? Not off the top of my head. I probably could if I thought long and hard about it, but I don't want Gege to be the example. I feel like Fujimoto wanted to write Chainsaw Man Part 2. I think he said that, in fact, in an interview. It doesn't seem like Gege would want to write a JJK Part 2, or a JJK sequel, or anything like that. Even if they got to start completely from scratch, I don't think they want to do that. They want to go on and move on to their own things. I believe they want to make an idol manga, and that's okay. I want Gege to be free, just as I want to be free of JJK. That's a lie. I do like JJK really a lot. But still, overall, those are my thoughts. I think JJK as a sequel, if it happens, I'm not shocked. I don't want it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with my opinions why the JJK sequel is basically necessary and would make a whole bunch of money and is perfectly set up by these last couple chapters? Or do you completely disagree with me and say I'm absolutely buku bonkers and none of this makes any sense and I'm a whack guy because I don't have it on me, keep it on me? That's a lie, though. You know I got it on me. I keep it on. But still, please let me know all that and more in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave pizza time. If you couldn't tell, I was watching a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man video earlier. But still, pizza time in the comment section down below. I did thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you support me for as low as $1 things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. If so, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month. Well, that's $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reaction to the final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, ad-free variations of all my videos, and to become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description description down below, or you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Sarah, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, Brandon Payne, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, Igneal Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $7 members: Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, Zombie Hunter, and Austin Wimberly. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons: Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami.
And I'd like to give the craziest, juiciest, most next-level, quadruple, sloppy, toppy, next-level superhuman in beyond this world kidney having thank you to our $100 patron, or that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.